Hello, hello. What's going on out there, world? It's a beautiful Monday evening, or night. I guess we could go ahead and go all the way there. It's about 10 o'clock here in the PM. If you don't know, this is Rex with no Noiz Research coming at you on August 27th in this awesome year of 2018. We've had the volatility in regular equities. We've had Bitcoin moving up and down like crazy. This has been a great trader's year. I hope y'all been taking advantage of that over time, or maybe just stepping back. Sometimes the best trade is to not even trade at all. It's also one of the hardest ones to do. That's for sure, because it is so damn fun. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into some stuff. I'm sure y'all are kind of excited. Bitcoin touched 6,900 earlier, so that's nice. I know everybody likes to see that. So let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of news. Oh, damn, don't do it. Almost. There you go. New York firm gives aging hydroelectric dam new life as Bitcoin mining farm, as a Bitcoin mining farm. So we saw that down in Texas, that they converted some old coal plants into some mining facilities for the BTC by Bitmain, which is pretty awesome, guys. Like, they're just taking over. We're evolving. The economy is evolving, and people and municipalities are accepting that crypto and mining is a viable business now. Otherwise, they wouldn't let crypto companies be purchasing and like letting this go down. And you'd be like, well, how could they prevent that? Oh, they have little tricks and stuff. But this is awesome. They're open to it. And this is even in New York. And so I think this is just building more of that foundation for the BTC in the long run. The big boys haven't fully embraced this. This is still very new. So it was originally built back in '83, which is pretty, you know, it's got some dates on it, not too bad. But it's a 1 megawatt dam. They got it in March of this year. And it will be developed as a crypto mining device in partnership also with Samsung Semiconductors. So that's pretty big. Samsung has shown lots of interest in this space. That would be exciting to get them in there. I'm sure lots of people would agree that, you know, give Bitmain some competition, right? I'd say so. Competition is healthy. All right, let's go on. ETH and EOS only have 8 dapps combined with 300 plus active users. If this is true, from what this guy did, that would be really crazy. And let's just talk about scaling a little bit. So Visa has around 880 million credit cards in circulation with a few 100 million active users worldwide. They process tens of thousands of transactions every second. It's a lot of transactions. There definitely is no crypto that can do that now. Now, will one be able to do that in the future? Absolutely, for sure. It's just part of the growing pains of a new business or new, any kind of new venture. It takes a little while to kind of iron kinks out and just get good at it. Hell, even when you just get a regular job, like flipping a burger or something just, you know, a simpler job, like it takes you a while to kind of get in the groove and do that job really well versus the first, you know, couple months you work there. So no matter how simple the task. Of course, Vitalik said second layer scaling solutions like plasma and sharding will help increase the daily capacity potentially to 1 million transactions per second. I don't know, that seems a little ambitious. Maybe it can, maybe it can't. I don't know. I don't know enough about technical stuff to be able to speak on that in depth, but the names are funny, especially sharding, right? You know, in the obvious sense. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, scaling, I never really have worried about scaling. I remember in 2013, it was like a huge, everyone started really talking about it then, and it's just kind of like, well, wait, this just has to grow, man. You just got to wait over time. It just happens naturally. And it's not really that it's not going to happen, and we have to hurry up and panic about why it's not happening yet. The bigger reason is that we just need more people in the space. It's still a very tiny market. Generally, most people don't have Bitcoin. I'm sure most of your family is not invested in Bitcoin. Maybe you convinced them, like last year, to do that, or you know, suggested it to them or whatever. But yeah, most people don't have crypto. Most people don't have gold or silver either. But even the gold and silver portion of money is way more than the Bitcoin portion right now, or crypto in general, actually, not just Bitcoin. So really, it's just we need to get, we need to make the apps easy to use on your phone, so we can incentivize people to come back over or come to like alternatives. And if you don't make it easy for end users to do that, they're not going to do it. This is all about app building now. The chains are already there, guys. The chains are there. We need apps. Apps is the problem. We don't need 200 more ICOs. That's not going to really do anything, all right? And once the community supports a certain group of currencies, because it won't just be one, you know, it kind of looks like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ripple, or, you know, the top 3. Maybe they'll kind of all split up the marketplace for now. That's going to evolve over time. So it's definitely interesting. I don't think you need to worry about scalability. It will build out over time, and it's not going to be an issue. All right. Might be scary right now or tomorrow, but over time, it's irrelevant. Something I want to talk about. This is pretty funny. Tilray is I believe, a pharmaceutical company. He mentioned Bitcoin. He goes, this is like Bitcoin levels, as weed stocks have been running up pretty hard. He says, quote, this is like Bitcoin levels, the kind of move Tilray is making. Tilray is, I guess I'll just go ahead and show y'all. TLRY is just kind of, it is kind of getting a little crazy. This is a daily. Y'all can see in the background on the watermark. Yeah, this is pretty wild. I mean, you're just gappy McGaps in here. You're just doing it, stepping up. This one was real nice. Look at that, 53.5 to 52.5. That's for real. Careful though. This is it's getting a little wild out there, especially when you got people, cannabis investors who run, or this guy runs, I guess, marijuanastocks.com. He's saying that they are BTC like, which I don't know. Is that BTC like? I guess so. You know, BTC is definitely not moved. Oops, wrong one. You know, 50% in any day recently. Maybe that's about to show. We have been watching this cold price action, and we're about to get into some of the BTC chart here and talk about that. So this cold price action right here is it's been charging up for a big move. Let's see if this is actually that way to go. But let's go ahead and finish up with this here. If y'all don't know this, a lot of people kind of call weed stocks the legal crypto. You know, you can trade it in your broker account or whatever. And yeah, most of them are penny stocks, of course. But it is a legitimate business that's happening in the back end, and I don't even think people still are acknowledging that. Like, they're like, yeah, man, everyone should be able to smoke weed, dude, it's awesome and stuff, yeah, and all that. But it goes deeper than that. You've got Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation estimates that cannabis alone is gonna add 87 million to its top line in fiscal 2018 to 19. So if you don't know who Nova Scotia, and we're gonna just shorten it to NSLC, which is the Nova Scotia Liquor Corp, they're pretty much the specs, or wherever in your region, the big warehouse liquor sales type places. They run all of the sales except for like 4 private specialized wineries. But every other damn alcohol sale goes through them, and then they actually give all the profits and money back into government, which, you know, a lot of people like and just think that's great, nationalized stuff, all that kind of thing. But it's ultimately, people are governments, guys. Don't forget that. They're just people like you and me, sitting in just different chairs. All right, it really is like that. It's crazy. But I was not aware of this until recently. Earlier this month, Constellation Brands signed a deal with Canopy Growth, and that's probably why they popped really big. I was like, what the hell? One of my friends even mentioned it. You can see, yeah, this stock has been just on fire right now. So they announced a deal with Canopy Growth, which, our Constellation Brands announced a deal with Canopy Growth. And if you're not familiar with Constellation Brands, they are a mega alcohol retailer in the States. Huge. They're one of the biggest ones. All right. So they signed a $4 billion investment. So that is pretty amazing. So alcohol is kind of like, they even mention it here that they need to reinvent themselves in the face of declining beer sales. I guess that makes sense, because if you can get weed easier and other things besides just alcohol, which is like the only legal one, right? Then, you know, naturally that's going to take some of that market, which isn't a bad thing, guys. You know, I'm sure some of y'all probably would agree, or most of y'all, that, you know, if you can drink alcohol, like, why couldn't you buy weed? You can buy cigarettes. And I'm just kind of down for, like, do things responsibly anyway. Really, no matter what it is. Government shouldn't be regulating that stuff. But this is cool. This is good business in the long term. So do keep an eye on that, on these weed stocks. I guess they're like the crypto. I've been trading them for a little while. Not recently. I was looking at most of them back. Here's a ETF, if you want to know real quick, HMMJ. I was kind of looking at them all back in here, and I can't remember if I did mention these or not in videos, but I might have, because I have been watching these very closely the last month, because they do go legal on the 17th, which is right here in October, and that is in Canada, what that is for. So that's pretty big news. So it looks like the market's starting to get a little bit excited about that. So let's go ahead and jump over to market cap. And let's go to 6 months. All right, so we're at 224 pretty much. I like to round. It's 223.74 if you really want to know, but I like to round it a little bit. And this is good. We're coming up right on that 225 that we've been talking about. Let's see if we can kind of... We need to blast past it. We kind of need to make a good, fast run to 250 is what would be really more serious sign for the bulls. All right. So we are getting some volume to pick up over here. So, yeah, we need this to continue, though. Like I said, let's go ahead and blast up real quick within the week. Let's do up to, like, blow past 225 to test 250. That would be a really good sign. Dominance is continuing to hover around 53% on the BTC. All right, let's go to the general market. Oh, and on videos too, I mentioned, I might have mentioned that if I did, they're all time-stamped. I time-stamp the shit out of them, so you can just go in there and click on most of the videos and kind of go through whatever you would like to really hear about and skip the shit you don't want to hear. Because I know I love timestamps on videos. So I know most people have to love those. Because not everyone gives a shit about, you know, crypto miners like this in Bitcoin and mining farms. No one cares, you know. Well, not no one cares, but some people don't care. Alright, some 24-hour big movers. IOTA still moving good. Dash, wow. Wow. Dash looks like it has got a move in here today. 25% in the last 24 hours. Yeah, it is a little on fire here. So maybe there's some life coming into this crypto scene. Let's actually look at it on a 4-hour. Alright, so we got some resistance at like 208. We are way up here. That's a lot of excitement right there. That is some serious buy action. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe see what happens over the next day or two to kind of digest this candle, because that is a beast mode candle. Because you are coming up, as I said, about 200, 210 on the resistance level, which also coincides with some of the battling over here before it rolled over. So that's good. All right, let's go back to the main chart. Neo's looking good. Okay, so there's a lot of good looking green here. So that's nice. Not in the last hour, though. It's like all flat. Look at that. All like, except for Walton, the next Bitcoin, guys. It is. It totally is. So I'm all in on Walton coin. Yeah, so that's about it. Kind of getting some legs here. It's looking good. Let's go ahead and jump to the Bitcoin chart. Bada bing. Let's go to Big Mama. See what she's talking about. So as we've been talking This is the what matters. Bitcoin needs to start getting some legs, and then it will. Once it starts getting some legs, then everything else can kind of follow as little liquidation breaks happen off Bitcoin. Those sell-offs and taking profits and gains will go into your favorite shitcoin and pump it, and they will do that roundy round like a little merry altcoin roundy round. It's they have them only at specific certain carnivals in a city near you. They are rare. So here we go, guys. Look at this. We've had this green box on here for a long time. We've been talking about it forever. We've been talking about how nothing's happening. We drew this box right here as the ultimate, like, whoa, watch out box. If we break out of this, then it's going to be bad. We didn't. I'm still going to kind of leave it on there just for reference and extend it. If you notice, price has broken out. Oh, let's go ahead and do the big chart. There we go. Price is broken out of the top here of this box, which is a good sign. That's a great sign. Now we need to have follow through. So if we pull up on the volume has been rather lackluster. So it can still easily, like our target again has been this line here, this trend line for a long time, and you're like, well, that's everybody's target. Well, yeah, that's right. So everybody's watching the same movie, don't forget. So even when we get up into the red exponential, that's going to be hardcore resistance at about 72. So depending how long this even takes, you know, it looks like we're kind of destined to get up in that area that we've been talking about. This could roll over. I'll show you in one chart here right now because everything is looking okay on a daily. On the 4 hour, it looks really good. What we talked about yesterday ended up playing out. I was saying to watch the DMI here because it was about in this area. I was saying watch the DMI here and see if it can overcome the bears, which it did, and wait for the bears to go ahead and fall out, which they definitely started doing right here. And we've got the bulls over our level that we like to see, which is about 25-ish. And then they stayed up there because you were going to see that first, then you saw it on this 4 hour, right? Because this was so choppy, you didn't see this part yet. It was just here. So the hour was the way to watch that, and that's about as low a time frame as I go. I don't find any really need to go to time frames lower than that. So there you go. It kind of played out fairly nicely. Let's keep this momentum up. We definitely need to do that. The volume looks okay. I'd like to see one of these bigger style candles to compete with some of this previous action that we've seen. But overall, this looks okay. We are now higher in the RSI here. We might create divergence on the DMI. That's something to look out for. Right now, it's not a big concern, though. And on the 4 hour, we are coming on the longest exponential here. And so that's going to be formidable resistance. It's funny, it popped right up to that. And now we're probably going to dance around here for a little bit. Let me go into zoom in and show you the chart that I wanted to talk about, which is something we talked about a little bit yesterday, is volume profile, but just per that day. And it has things, these red lines are called point of control. And so that's where like most of the value was that day. And you can see sometimes on a daily, the point of control is not always at the high or the low of the candle. Sometimes it can be in the middle. Sometimes it can be at the top. Sometimes a little shy. Here's one in the middle. Like here's one on the wick. So it gives you a better in-depth look at the markets, okay? And so something I was looking at earlier was this. So I'm looking at these point of controls over the last few days. You can kind of see they're pretty stacked right around here in this 6,600-ish area. We get and blow up here. And on this candle, we've got zero participation in this. If y'all can see this, right? All right. As a reference, you can look over here. Same thing happened, except unless it's not as bad. These aren't as wide, or these aren't as narrow as these over here, right? So you can see, and this only happened in one big candle. That is partially why this is thin too. But as you can see, not much biz here between 67.80 and 68.50. That is pretty thin. So it looks like to me that we need to definitely keep up this momentum quickly, or we will likely come back. You can even see this thin green here. Like, most of this is like no one's doing business. Like, the next day we need to have this kind of consolidate up here a little bit, or just start taking off. Like, if let's see, let's measure 618, which is about 6,700. All right, so 6,700 could be a new kind of cutoff for this style here. And if you want to get real conservative, you could go to like 67, like 75. We do have major support printing here so far on this blue dot here. That indicator is called a TEMA. If you check it out, I think it's definitely worth it. It's pretty cool. So we are having some support print at about the 6,800 level. So do keep an eye on, let's call it, well, actually, let's just move our box up. See all these pocs right here, all these red lines stacking, so there's lots of value here. So let's go ahead and do something about like that. Likely to come and test into that zone, but right now, since we are out of it, we might start getting some FOMO, especially if we can break above 7K. That should easily get us into 72 to 74, which these are all decent entry or trades, like movements. Like, you can definitely play that. All right, let's look at Ethereum. Everyone's favorite, Mr. Vitalik is the new most amazing guy ever, making the best chain in the world, wearing unicorn shirts. Who thought? Who would have thunk it? Man, look at this. Ethereum on Tether. That is definitely not what we want to look at. Sorry, guys. Man, that almost broke my screen. Here we go. Bam. That's better. So we are just still chopping this area. We got this box. Man, it's been more boringness from the ETH. At least we had this cool little hammer, and now we've been kind of accepting price thus far in this range. It is good to see that Ethereum finally participated in Bitcoin's rally. That is one thing I did notice today, that Ethereum, and we're about to go look at it here shortly, Litecoin has participated in this rally. So that is a nice sign. We haven't seen that positive correlation between the top dogs in quite a while. We also are getting on the 4 hour above, where the bulls kind of have the reins and the bears are below and pretty weak at the moment. Let's see if they are on the 850. Nope, 850 they're still battling, but on the 4 hour they are looking strong. So keep an eye out on some ETH and see if it participates with the BTC rally. I think that's going to be really important to be able to kind of sniff this rally out. Let's look at Litecoin. Speaking on that, here we are coming up on major resistance. It is participating though. We haven't seen like a nice candle like this in a hot minute. So most momentum it's had all month. So that's a decent sign. If Bitcoin's going to mid sevens, this target is pretty simple. I would say the middle of this channel that it's been in for a long time, which would be about where we set this up a couple of days ago. And this is the profit tool. It's just something you can put on your charts maybe to just help you be more organized, or like be diligent. You're like, oh, it's in there, whatever, I'm targeting here. Wait, be patient. Or when it gets to here, it just kind of helps you set stuff up. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe you don't need it. But sometimes just even drawing it out and looking at it, and you're like, okay, that seems, I can take that and accept that risk. Because that's really what it's about. This is the only thing you can control, is your order entry and where you're going to take profits and stop out. So that's super important. Discipline, risk management. I talk about that a lot in 2 episodes ago, I believe. Again, they're all timestamped, so you can check them out. One of the recent episodes, I go into depth about risk management. It's something I talk about a lot, actually, on a lot of my streams, because I believe that it's super important. If you don't get that under control, then you are doomed. Doomed. Let's go to EOS. The EOS. Kind of coming up also in this purple. Funny, all the charts are looking the same, even though there's some pumping. It's green, so that's good. And at least they're participating, because a lot of the times we've been talking about Ethereum and Litecoin not participating in these rallies. So this is a change of pace. So that, like I said, again, I will note that. So let's see. Looks like looks like this is getting ready to test the top of this channel. Excuse me. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's getting ready to test the top of this channel. So where are we looking at here? Looks like I have an alert, a breakout alert of about 560, and that would be nice for a run, depending on when it happens, right? You have to know there is an x-axis. Don't forget that. Time and price. It's not just one. So depending on how much time goes by, you know, that will change this. But you can pretty much target like 650-ish if you wanted to average it out from here, which is a pretty nice move. We talked about EOS way back in here when it's consolidating. The 480 level was providing great support. You even had the blue dots here putting and printing in support as it was curling here, which was at about 450. That was kind of the sweet spot that we were talking about. And I mean, your risk is really low too right there. I mean, you can set it up and do, say if you were doing it when we were discussing, I mean, you're talking about a 5 to 10% risk depending on your appetite, because that's up to you. You have to be your own trader. This is just education and stuff that I'm doing. So hopefully, you know, it gives you some insight maybe, but you can just, you got to be able to just pull the trigger and do this yourself, you know, set that risk up. You got it. Here it is. Maybe 5%, you do that. But like your upside is easily, because this candle hadn't happened yet. So, I mean, you're easily looking at, you know, $5.5 to $6.5. Like that was a pretty easy, low risk target that you could take. It's all about managing your winners as well as your losers, because it could get up here, and what if you don't take it off and then it sells off? But like that's where you targeted, right? It's the same thing as if you bought here and it just sells off immediately and you never had money, but then you don't close it, then you're losing money. If this goes up and you don't take any money off and you don't close it like you said you would in your plan, then you're losing money. It's kind of the same thing. Because this is supposed to help, because you're going to have losers, but you need to make sure that you manage the winners so you have enough to offset your losses. It's hard to do. Managing winners is one of the most difficult things to do, I believe. All right. Let's go to the rips. Everybody's favorite. Gosh, I got to stop doing that. They like snuck in Bittrex dollar up above Bitfinex recently. Here we go. We did the same thing here with a little profit tool action, which is kind of playing and showing out nicely, right? So you could get here, do only about a 6% risk to the downside. That's about how I'm setting it up, or I did set it up. And then I'm targeting about a 18% gain, which is just these recent highs. So you know, you don't have to get greedy. And when something maybe goes into your favor, now you can remove this part, right? And now you can actually make it to where it's like this, to where you'll stop out here at the top, and now you have no risk. Actually, I don't want you to even see the, okay, imagine the, there you go. So there is no red anymore, because you just removed it, because it went your way. Now adjust again, just small, just to where you're even. Don't get too crazy and put it too close so it doesn't hit you and then go back up, because that happens a lot. Yeah, you don't want that to happen, where it's like, oh, you just like decide, instead of putting it more rationally, like about here, when you're about here, that covers all your commissions and everything, you decide to ratchet it up like right here, and then this one candle happens and gets you. The market knows. It sniffs that out, guys. You gotta be a little extra. Just take a little extra risk. And if you have to, just trade a little smaller. That's a little trick there. You don't have to go all in all the time, right? So this is kind of working out here. So that's nice. Let's kind of adjust that back to how we had it set up. Maybe if I can get the right box. Oh, it doesn't look like I can. What the hell? Maybe if I do it like this, I can trick it out. Yeah, there you go. Aha. So let's just kind of set that back up how we had it. About like this, right? It was like 6 point something like that. There we go. Kind of match them with these dots here was my idea. All right, so there you go. That looks about exactly where it was. So cool kind of little tool to help keep your mind in check. All right. Nothing really too exciting about Ripple though, besides it's coming back up to test the purple exponential. We are getting some decent volume right here though, so that is a good sign, and we are getting to where the bulls are controlling on the 4 hour. What about the 850? 850 is fairly neutral. All right, we still need to get above the 55 moving average on the 850. That would be a really extra nice bullish sign. We'll see though. So that is the rips. Let's go to Nano. We were talking about that yesterday. We're going to follow it a little bit. Price is consolidating up here. Be careful. I'm being careful up here, I'll say, because this looks distribution-y so far. You have divergence here, here, and here, and that's 3 times. You have it here, here, not here though. So DMI is saying it's a little strong. I guess RSI closed a little bit higher too than this one, but you do have the bears creeping up, as you can see right here. And we did fall below the power line, which is about 26-ish, 25-ish area. So we are struggling to get back over that. That means that price needs to get back above 5,250 Satoshis to get bullish again. So that's kind of setting that in stone at the moment after this price action. And it's trying right here. This will be a very interesting candle once it prints here in about 30 minutes. All right. This is a daily. Or no, I'm sorry. This is a 4 hour. Let's look at it on the 1 hour. Maybe we get, oh yeah, see bulls. Like we were talking about on the Bitcoin, if we can get the 1 hour, because it was kind of choppy on the 4. The 4 looks okay on Nano though, but right here you can start seeing if the bulls will be weaker if they start just chopping in the neutral zone. Okay, instead of coming back over, they should stay up here more so on average, like this is, even though it's not always up there. On average it's up there. When you have little liquidation breaks, this is normal, but it turns around right at the bottom of that range. And then if you notice here, bears immediately get slapped back underneath the mid-range of about 15-16 area. So that's giving you a clue that as bulls keep going up, and then bulls regain strength again, once again here, as bears just keep dying. DMI is a great indicator, y'all. I keep saying it, I've said it like 4 times. I'm gonna do a good video on just DMI. All right, it's coming out soon. I'm gonna do it. What's today? It's Monday. First day of the week. All right, I'm gonna have it by the end of the week. That's my goal. By Sunday show, by next week Sunday show, we're gonna have a DMI indicator course. All right, dudes. Let's go to, and chicks too, if you're out there. It's just, you know, trading seems to be predominantly males. I wish chicks traded more and women traded more, because they tend to be naturally better traders. I will just leave it at that. All right, let's go to, I wanted to show y'all HMMJ again and go into some of this crazy ass marijuana movements. Right, these have been getting wild. All right, so another one, that CGC that did a deal with Constellation Brands, which sells lots of alcohol. They're one of the biggest ones. Like, think InBev or something like that. So they get that deal, and then this just is like doubled almost. And just Constellation Brands itself, you know, has had, this is a weekly going all the way back to 1990, has had a pretty damn good run. All right, we are getting some pretty interesting rounding. Wow, that did not draw well. Go a little slower here. We're having a little rounding formation going on there though, so do be careful. Although, you know, sometimes S&P did this too. You could have drawn that same one right there. But bust out of it, it's broken, and you got to delete it. It's over. All right, let's go to ES and traditional markets. They've been breaking out and breaking out some more. There was follow through in the regular session. We were talking about that last night before they opened. This was a pretty nice play. Ended up just staying right up all this 21 exponential. It is getting fairly steep, so I would not be surprised if we see a little bit pullback coming into maybe just the 21 or even probably the 50 would even make more sense. But now that we're in all-time highs, we can kind of FOMO up a little bit and still crash 1 to 3% and still be close to the previous all-time highs. Isn't that funny how that works? So on the daily, it's looking really nice. Breakout. Here we go. This is kind of indicative of the blue sky breakout. It's just it's doing it. It's party time. Just kind of like it did back here, breaking out on that big candle. It literally didn't turn back for shit the whole month. It was just like, what? You want some of this? Better jump on the train. Which was about 7% that month. What a month. What a great month. So yeah, here's this big channel it's into, the green lines you can see here and here on the outsides. We're about in the middle of it, coming up on that resistance. The top of that channel is up around, is over 30K, pretty much about 32,000, depending how much further in time we go, but we'll call it about 32 for now. So that sounds 3,200, I'm sorry, not 32,000. That would be an insane move on the S&P. So this is looking pretty good. I am looking to add some long delta in my paper trading when there is some sell-offs and liquidation breaks. All right, let's go to Nasdaq. It's showing similar strength, all-time highs again for Nasdaq. So now all of them are participating in this. So it does look pretty nice. There is divergence here. Clear, it's pretty clear. But it is holding up though on this upward trend line, so that's interesting. We're going into, and we're breaking out of this kind of triangle formation on the RSI. Let's see if we can get that confirmed on the DMI. That's what I would really like to see. See if we can get the daily back up above 25. Look on the 4 hour if we got that. Yeah, see, we're getting a little excited right here. So let's be a little cautious. That's why I'm not gonna get long delta until we have until I see some pullback action. Don't forget, markets are dynamic. You always have another chance to get in. Even if you're wrong and it breaks out, at least you waited for confirmation. And if you do that over time, it definitely will help you. All right, let's go to the Russell. Let's see if it's participating. Also participating in this. There you go. Let's go to the daily. Just kind of easier to look at major markets on the daily. It did have a shooting star doji print today, though. So that is interesting. Let me put some horizontals on here real quick. Bam, bam, bam. It's looking bullish as hell, though. But that shooting star on the daily is very interesting. No divergences, though. So there's nothing really showing bearishness except for that pattern. And you can't see. Let me put the futures contract in there so we can see some volume. There we go. There's not much volume behind any of this either. So just like Bitcoin, no one's really playing too seriously. We've just been consolidating in both markets. Where is the big boys? All right, gold. Oh, dang it. Gotta go to GC, the futures, so we get some volume data. So gold's looking pretty good right here, bouncing off this nice hammer. Picking up every day after, just like it should. It looks like this is about a 6-1, and it's also 618 retracement from this move, from the bodies, and it also looks here about the blue dots at about 1180. So this is really nice and textbook, and now we're clearing the 21, so it's very likely that we come up here and touch 1230s pretty soon. You know, gold's just been beat up so long, it's kind of about time that it got its ass in gear, that's for sure. All right, Bitcoin, final thoughts. Y'all already know what it is. To 80,000 at least by tomorrow. I mean, if we just get to 30,000 tomorrow, that's what the hell, Bitcoin. See if we can just kind of stay up here. I'd like to stay above kind of this range, even more so than this. This is just kind of like the, you know, don't get too greedy and put your stops too high. Everyone's seeing this. We're all watching the same movie. I talk about it a lot in other videos. Please do check them out. They're time-stamped to hell, so you can go and navigate real quickly. That's important to me because I always love that when I watch videos. Here we are riding up this trend since the 20th. It looks to be staying intact. Let's see if we can just keep riding that baby up to, as we've been talking about, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed since this rally. We were waiting for it to close above 60. Excuse me. We were waiting for it to close above 66, and it did. And then we were waiting for it to close above 68, and it did. And at that same time on that candle, it actually did it with getting over this green box, which we have not been out of since this last rally. Okay, so that's a good sign, guys. It's looking fairly good. We've been talking about it the last couple of days. It's been building up, so keep an eye on these trends. Watch your lower time frames to see if you see anything maybe weakening, like once this hourly starts dropping below our power line, which is the mid-20s on the DMI indicator, then you might need to be a little bit cautious. But right now it looks pretty strong. I would actually be pretty shocked if we didn't test at least 7,200. Of course, that's my opinion. What the hell do I know? Just some dude on YouTube, you know, like whatever. Jackass talking about some charts over here. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude this evening's show. Again, this is No Noiz Research with your host, Z-Rex. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, sub, bell, and smash. And check out my other videos. You don't have to watch all of them. They're all time-stamped right at the top, even before the description. So you don't have to scroll down a little bit. Makes it super easy. Scroll time's important now. Alright, y'all have a beautiful night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.